Right, 9 races down. We have 6 more to go, including this one. And this time we're back with DD2 Masters. Here is your starting grid. So Carl Clivell will look to make it 2 for 2 today here in the wonderful sunshine at karting Genk, the home of champions. He'll be having some countrymanship alongside him, courtesy of Tom Dessert from GKS Lemons Power. Christoph Adams will look to not have any issues with tyre barriers, I fear, for race number 2. So that would have been on the outside of turn 7, so it would have been the left-hand side. That's why he was looking down at that side of the chassis. He starts P3. Alongside him will be Bruno Dos Santos. Estonia's Pritzai will start in 5th place on the 501, with Franck Levergne in the 529, rounding out the top 6, with Christophe Capitain in the 599 from France in 7th, ahead of Frederick Bakert in the 553 from Belgium. Drivers now making their way from the sighting lap onto the formation lap. 7 minutes once again on the timer. The red lights will now be ignited on the starting gantry, ready for the drivers to go racing. And then after this, we will have 5 more races still to go. We'll have a further 2 senior Rotax heats, which will then decide the top 30 classified that will automatically go through to the pre-final and the final tomorrow. However, there will be 17 rather despondent drivers that will have what we like to call a second chance. And the second chance heat will kick things off for the BNL Karting Series kickoff tomorrow morning. And the time for that will be at 11 o'clock Central European time. So now, Clairvaux and also Dessert will be the ones that will lead the field towards turn 12. And will we have a good start this time? Because we've had a couple of starts where the drivers have not been happy, or race control have said no, restart again. 8 drivers, 7 minutes plus a lap. We're about to go racing once more. They now split and make their way into the tram lines. Are we ready? Are we steady? Here's the waiting game, but the revs rise and the lights are out and we are off and away. And a good start by Christoph Adams to again go up the inside of Tom Dessert, this time through into turn 2. Tom Dessert uses the runoff. You can use that on the first lap, but afterwards can be considered as track limits. Oh, that was a moment and a half there, I think, for Bruno Dos Santos, who's dropped all the way down to what is now 6th position. Christophe Capitain has got past. Franck Levergne has dropped down to 7th, ahead of Frederick Bakert. So, yeah, Levergne needing to make good his intentions and probably to try and get up the order. However, Carl Clivell, De Backer, leading the way. Adams in 2nd. Pritzai now, I think, is up into... Yeah, that is the case. He is up into 3rd position. Tom Dessert in 4th. Bruno Dos Santos not too far behind us now. Dessert goes up, looks towards the inside of Pritzai going into turn 1. Thinks better of it, but then decides to attack. Very good strategic, aggressive overtaking there from Tom Dessert. That's part of the form that netted him the Grand Kickoff title in 2020. The first time I ever actually saw him compete. But last year for him was a year that I think he pretty much wants to resign to the pantheon of old history, let's say. Sweep it under the carpet and have a fresh start for 2021. However, the entire field covered by, on the end of lap 1, were covered by just under 2.5 seconds. But those gaps could be elongating ever so slightly. But Carl Clivell and Christoph Adams leading the way at the moment, with Pritzai rounding out the top 3. Well, was rounding out the top 3. Tom Dessert rounds out the top 3 now. Top 3 covered by just over a second. And all 8 drivers covered by just 2.65 seconds from front to back. As Pritzai getting... oh, now that's a great little move there. Put the pressure on, did Christophe Capitain. on Pritzai going through turn 6, but now Pritzai looking towards the inside of turn 7. Is the Estonian going to make it through? He does. Bruno Dos Santos, nearly has. Franck Levaun with him for rather close quarter company. And then Frederick Baker tries to think, oh, well, I might be able to go up the inside of Levaun. Well, he got a front. I think, at the end of the day, he needs to just sort of keep his nose clean, does Goose. And it's also dependent on how clean he can keep his front Nassau in the meantime, because obviously you don't want to have impromptu contact with another pass of another cart, and what that could mean is an automatic 5-second time penalty. But Christoph Adams looking a little bit better off this time around, and he is closing on to Carl Clairvaux this time around. Tom Dessert not too far behind either, so the top three starting to mount a breakaway. So Pritzai in 4th place, Christophe Capitan closing the door for Bruno Dos Santos at this particular moment in time. Franck Levaun and Frederick Baker rounds out the top 8. Well, the 8 that are still racing. We're at about 3.5 minutes in this race, still to go. So Christoph Adams has really had that particular opportunity thrown. Well, he's had that opportunity of getting past Carl Klebot at multiple times during this race. And then Tom Dessert has been waiting in the wings. We still have one more lap remaining. So Carl Klebot just biding his time. He's just trying to stay ahead. Oh, Adams up the inside. Adams up the inside. Switch back from Klebot into turn 3. Dessert looking to thread the eye of the needle up the inside of Klebot. Oh, they clash wheels again going through turn 4. But Klebot hangs on, but Christoph Adams timed that to mighty perfection through the final approach into turn 2. And now Carl Klebot really has that opportunity to try and get past if he can. And he doesn't have long. They've just got 3 more corners to go after this one. They've got turns 10 to 12. And on this particular occasion, Christoph Adams, despite a tyre-glancing race-ending moment in race 1, heat 1, he's now going to come through turn 12, and the checkered flag for the first time in 2021 will wave for Christoph Adams. So, yeah, that was it. Christoph Adams taking the win ahead of Carl Klebot by 0.189 of a second. Tom Dessert, 0.3 seconds separated the top 3. Pritzai in 4th. But what a drive from Christoph Adams. Just waited until the opportunity presented itself. Carl Klebot went early. But then Christoph Adams knew that he had the measure of him to possibly go up the inside. And with a couple of laps to go, that was it. Let's have a look at the finishing order for Heat 2 for DD2 Masters. So Christoph Adams takes the victory after 9 laps of racing, winning by 0.189 seconds ahead of Carl Klebot. Tom Dessert rounds out the top 3. Pritzai in 4th ahead of Christophe Capitain, Frederick Bakert, Bruno dos Santos, and Franck Laverne rounding out the 8 strong. Well, Franck Laverne unfortunately retired with 3 laps to go.